Hey guys, welcome back to the PM Reviews podcast. We have another interview. We've done a quick turnaround this week. Got two back to back. This is Malik Golden. He played for Penn State football. He signed as an undrafted free agent with the Steelers, and he talks about some of those experiences and some other, I guess we could call it, adventures he's trying to pursue in his time off. So
Yeah, this was This is probably my favorite one we've done so far. It was like a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of interesting topics we went over. It wasn't just football.
yeah, it was this. This is not just a football podcast. This is definitely more of a. This is definitely more of a consumer podcast. I'd
Yeah.
say like a run of the mill fan. Just I like football and I like to hear about these guys' lives. So check it out. Head over to iTunes and give us a rating after this is over if you like it, and let us know what you think in the review section. And here we go.
All right, everybody. We're sitting here talking to Malik Golden. We're really excited he's on. Thanks for coming on the show, by the way, Malik.
No, I definitely appreciate you guys reaching out. I'm a big fan of people who do podcasts. I'm thinking about starting one myself, so I definitely respect your guys' hustle.
Well, if you ever start one, we'd love to be on if you don't mind having us on.
No, most definitely. I definitely.
We'd definitely return the favors.
Yeah, I'll subscribe to that any day. What kind of things would you talk about in your podcast?
Believe it or not, probably anything but sports. So that would kind of be my MO.
That'd be kind of
Sports
cool.
has kind of been, around my whole life. So it'd be cool to venture off and show people I'm more than just an athlete.
Yeah, that's definitely something that most athletes never get the chance to do is, show anything other than off the field, or, show their off the field stuff. So,
Oh, yeah.
You could be Malik Golden, the entertainer, rather than like Malik Golden always being the athlete. That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about stuff and talking to people and planting ideas and seeds. So we'll see what happens in the future.
yeah, it's super fun to do.
It's
So,
really cool. It's not like as hard as you would think. Like it's pretty easy to set up and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
we love doing it. We love having guests on, and we've had a couple guys that, former couple Panthers players, and we actually had another former college athlete, well, actually two here recently. We had Austin Duke from UNCC, and we had.
Yeah,
We had
Austin and I trained in Tampa together, so me and Austin are good friends.
oh, for real.
Yeah, that's my homeboy.
Oh yeah, and we had
Shout out to Austin Duke. We really appreciate him being on too.
we had CJ Rivas from Last Chance U. I don't know if you ever seen that on
I haven't,
Netflix.
but I keep hearing about the Last Chance U, and
Yeah, it's really
so
good.
one of the guys from Penn State, he ended up transferring to Last Chance U, and everyone in the community was watching, but I ended up just no, I'm not a big TV guy, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was pretty cool because he was one of the featured characters. It was cool to have him on. So.
It's a real cool show. It's like very like in depth. I would say like it doesn't feel like you're watching like a TV show. It feels like you're kind of there.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I watch stuff like How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal. I don't know if you ever seen like The Good
Oh, yeah.
Doctor. And then like I love stuff like old stuff like Boy Meets World, Fresh Prince.
Oh, we love some Boy
things
Meets
like
World
that.
now.
Oh yeah, Topanga's like my dream girl.
Shout out to Topanga.
So
But,
She's
shout out
listening.
to Topanga.
Well, speaking of you last sent you in college football, what was it like playing at Penn State? We were checking you out earlier. We were watching some highlight packages and saw you on a couple of them.
I went to Penn State at a crazy time. So I was, Joe Paterno's last like recruit that committed to him. So that was like crazy. And then all the stuff that happened with the so-called scandal
Yeah,
and just all that negativity surrounding it and deciding to go regardless.
it's a
And
brave thing to do.
Yeah, it was pretty brave for an 18-year-old kid to realize what was happening and go into the fire, not knowing what was going to happen. So, but, playing at Penn State was a blessing. I played with some awesome guys, met some awesome people, and that probably will outweigh actually playing football at Penn State because I just met so many good people.
Yeah,
Who are
it's
some of the guys you still talk to from the team?
Yeah, on the team now, I talk to most of the guys. They're all like my little brothers. I talk to guys that I play with. Austin Johnson, he plays for the Titans. Jordan Lucas, he plays for the Dolphins, and so forth and so on. I talk to a lot of guys in the NFL, and a lot of guys who aren't in the NFL and are just doing great as well in life. So
yeah. We were
I got-
checking it out and we saw like 5 people Is it 5? Yeah, it's 5 people made it out of your class to the NFL and signed with a team. So
Yeah, me.
that's just on your team. Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and my class was kind of broken up. Ohio State kind of came and took a lot of our guys when all the sanctions and stuff happened, and it was kind of like a put together class. But nonetheless, I think that the guys that came were a bunch of special guys because they came when people kept belittling Penn State essentially.
Who are some of the other guys that you're about to mention there?
There's a kid named Daquan Davis. He trains guys in Maryland. Trevor Williams, he's the starting corner for the Chargers. The kid Geno Lewis, my best friend. He plays in Ottawa in the CFL. He transferred to Oklahoma his last year. There's Jesse James. He's a tight end.
For the
That
Steelers?
call with the
Dang,
Jesse. And a lot of other guys. So
that's pretty big names. Those are pretty impressive.
Yeah.
yeah, I played with a lot of great guys. So
What was it like being a student athlete at Penn State and pretty prestigious school. That's definitely the most out of our guests we've had on. I'd say that's the biggest school, for a student athlete as far as size wise. Like, what was it like being at Penn State in a day-to-day operation for a student athlete?
it's overwhelming.
I believe it.
You got Margarita Mondays, Tequila Tuesdays, Wine Wednesdays, and so forth and so on. And you might get caught up in that your freshman year. The fans are amazing. School is school. They're pretty serious about school at Penn State, which is why I went there. But overall, it's just a nice community that revolves around football. So when it's football season, it's crazy, and then when it's not football season, everyone's waiting for football season. So,
What what was your major?
So I graduated in broadcast journalism, and then I have another degree in telecommunications.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you're ready to do the podcast now.
Yeah, that's pretty good for wanting to start a
so I have
podcast.
some background and stuff.
You're more qualified than we are.
I was going to get into radio after football and stuff. And then I was like, I definitely got a face for TV, so we'll see what happens.
Dang, that's crazy to hear somebody wanting to, as good as you were in college and, made it to the NFL. Most people are like, yeah, it's my dream. And you're like, yeah, radio is kind of cool. I like it better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, definitely being hurt right now kind of opens up your eyes. And I think it was the biggest blessing in disguise because I learned what I wanted to do. I started researching other fields and seeing what else I would be interested in. So this year I've kind of taken as like a redshirt year in the NFL to explore other options and realize that I'm not just a football player. So
Yeah, that's definitely cool. You actually, when we were looking it up, we didn't even realize it till we started putting the pieces together. And Patrick told me, he was like, he got hurt against. We're Panthers fans. We're out of Charlotte, so we're based out of Charlotte. So he was like, he got hurt against the Panthers, and we were like, wow, what a coincidence! Like that's like our favorite team. And
He picked Joe Webb off too.
yeah, so basically what happened was right before halftime, I tackled somebody. They kind of landed in my lap, and I just split. Ended up tearing a tendon in my groin. So as a rookie, especially undrafted rookie, I had a really good preseason and camp, but I was like, I still got to make another play. So halftime rolls around. So this is right before halftime. Halftime, everyone's like, are you good? I'm like, no, I'm going to go back out there and see what I got. 2 plays go by. I didn't run a lot in those 2 plays. And the third play, which I had the interception, that's when I tried to open up and run. And that's when my groin just was like, you're not going nowhere.
gosh,
I could just like when you rewatch the play, you can just tell that you can just see the pain because he got it and he starts kind of hobbling out to the the sideline, but he still holds onto the ball and gets probably 10 yards.
that's
return.
the football player in you.
Yeah, I wish I had the instincts to pitch it to somebody, but, I was kind of being selfish. It was like, if I ain't getting no touchdown, nobody getting a touchdown.
Still got to get a return though.
No, I'm joking. But, yeah, it was great to play against the Panthers and whatnot.
Do you still get to? Uh, do you still get to interact with the team still, or I guess since the injury
Oh yeah,
happened with
so
him?
basically it's like an injury settlement. I still talk to some of the guys on the Steelers. Right now I'm just using this year, like I said, as a red shirt. This is kind of the first year since I was in seventh grade where at this time I didn't have anything to do. So I'm using this time to like clear my mind mentally, physically. So when next year rolls around, I'll be pretty focused and ready to attack this thing head on.
Are you gonna try to get back on the Steelers, or are you gonna kind of just do your podcast thing or the radio?
No, I'm definitely, trust me, I'm interested in football, but the rehab process and the groin injury is very tricky. So I wanted to take this time very slowly. So for the off season, I'll sign with the team. In the off season, I'm gonna figure out if I want to start this podcast. Probably try to get a real estate license just to know the background info, and then look at some other investments as well, just to have my money make money.
Yeah, I actually am doing my real estate class right now.
Really?
I'm doing it in North Carolina. I don't know how. I guess you'll do it in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, but
Well, I train in Tampa, so I'm moving down to
okay.
Tampa.
I
So
don't,
I'm getting a
okay.
place in Tampa.
Yeah, I actually know a guy who got his in Florida, and he well, I don't know what that was, but he told me that he had it in North Carolina and he had it in Florida, and he said that Florida's like the best state to go get it at, and North Carolina I would never advise doing it there. It's ridiculous. It's so hard,
It's
but
probably pretty hard in Florida too, though.
Yeah, it probably is. It's just an option for me. I'm just looking. I'm even thinking about looking at a yoga instructor and stuff, just to kind of mold myself into like a Renaissance man and just have a bunch of traits that I can pull out and use at any given moment.
yeah, that's I don't. I mean, I know the podcast thing. We do that one a lot, and I'm excited to do the real estate thing. So it's good to have a couple things in your back pocket like that. It's
Yeah,
definitely
I think yours would be pretty good because you could have like a lot of guys that you played with and all that on. It'd
yeah.
be
You got
really
good
easy to get
connections.
guests on.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely I'm interested, and we'll see what happens. But like I said, I definitely respect the podcast that you guys are doing, and I know it's a lot of work. My best friend just started a podcast too, so I know the work it is behind it, and it is fairly easy if you like it. So I'm sure you guys are enjoying the
Oh
process.
yeah, we'd love it. What just a little bit more on the football, and we won't hold you too long, but
No, I got some time, so.
we like what was it like? So like right after college, in between the transition, like signing with somebody, and what was that process like? Because I don't think we've had an undrafted. Well, Austin Duke, but
Yeah, I was wondering. I
what's
kind of
that?
just wanted to ask that too.
Yeah,
Like,
what's
how do
that
you?
process kind of like?
So you basically, my last game was the Rose Bowl. I took a week off. Signed with an agent. His name is Ed Wazalewski, out of Philly, EMG Sports. I went down to Tampa to train with a guy named Yo Murphy and called Aspie Training. So I went down there for 2 months, 2.5 months. Got ready for my pro day. Did pretty well on my pro day. Talked to scouts. Ended up signing with the 49ers out of after the draft, and then got released because the NFL is a numbers game, basically. So they needed an offensive lineman. I was the youngest safety, so I was expendable. And then I was out for about a month and a half. Literally, I was laying in bed on July 30th or July 31st, about to get up and work out. My agent calls, said, "Hey, the Steelers are bringing you in right now. Be ready." So they called. They're like, "Hey, can you get to the airport?" So it's about 8 o'clock. And I tell them, "Yeah, I'll be there at about 12 if you give me some time." And they're like, "No, the next flight leaves at like 9:30. So I find a way to get there, land in Pittsburgh, and from there, go to training camp, learn the playbook in about a day. And from there, I had a pretty good preseason. So that's kind of the process I had.
That's really crazy. Like they just call you randomly. Like that's kind of good though, because you're like somebody out there, like really wanted me to call me like that, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, so it was definitely a surprise waking up at 8 o'clock, being, I guess, unemployed, and then having to go into training camp and be with one of the best organizations in all of sports,
Yeah, you ain't
regardless of
joking.
the
Yeah,
sport. So
especially a team like the Steelers, like with the lineage of that type of franchise, like it's got to be cool to know that they like called you like out of nowhere. Like,
yeah, and being from the Northeast and playing at Penn State, and it just seemed right, and it was a blessing.
That's
that's crazy.
yeah, that's absolutely unbelievable. What was the Rose Bowl like? Like that's like, other maybe than the national championship, I'd say that's the most recognized bowl game,
It was
nationwide.
so the reason I play football is because I grew up a soccer player, was like one of the top soccer players in the Northeast. Um, and what happened? So basically, the football team that I was playing with, I mean, I wasn't playing with the football team, but the football team in my town, they were going to Florida every year for the Pop Warner National Championship. And I was like, man, I could just miss a week of school and go to Florida. That'd be great. So I dropped soccer. Everyone in the town and state was mad. And I picked up football in seventh grade, and we ended up winning the national championship. And I just fell in love with Reggie Bush and USC. So that was like USC was where I wanted to go. So my last college game being against USC
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even put that two
was,
together until you said it.
yeah, it was like crazy to how it just worked hand in hand. And it was amazing the way the game was historic. And I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of bowl games, but that bowl being in it, I knew that it was special.
Oh yeah,
So
that's. I couldn't imagine the I guess the stage, I guess is what you'd call it, but I mean the whole world, everybody watching, because I mean everybody watches the Rose
Yeah, and
Bowl.
there's only one. It's not like it's not like one of those like that's gonna be there forever. Like,
Yeah, that's and
yeah, so when
it's
you
probably
run
one of the
out,
highest scoring ever.
yeah, yeah. So when I walked out with the captains, and I kind of needed like a minute to soak it all in and look at all the celebrities on the sideline, and it was a hell of an experience.
and that's crazy because we were talking to a guy we had on the other day, Nick Harris, and it was kind of
Yeah,
the same thing. It was like the stage is all big, and then you play your bowl game, and then you do all this, and then like not too long later, you're getting your call from the Steelers. It's like a lot to take in a short amount of time.
yeah. 2017 has been the um, probably the biggest roller coaster and growing year for me. Just being, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain from the Rose Bowl to the NFL to so many other things. Just growing as a person. Like when the Steelers called me, I had I think $4 to my name, and then being there and doing what I did, it was kind of great to go from having $4 to making some money because
Yeah,
of what I did. So
that's the. I
it
mean,
was a blessing.
that's the hard work paying off. I mean, people don't. We in the college athletes we talk to, they describe their day to day operation. Just getting up early morning and staying up late for practice, and it. I mean, every one of them have said they wouldn't change a thing. It was worth every minute of it. So
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, if I could go back to college and do it all over again, I would. It was just a great experience, and yeah, it's something that you just can't take for granted.
yeah, it sounds like it, but
And we were gonna ask, have you been like watching the Steelers this year?
Yeah, I mean, I've been. So basically, I'm like a coach, kind of. Like I try not to watch football because I overanalyze it, and when I'm watching, I try to pick up the coverage, pick up the route concept, pick up if it was a RPO or just things that the average football watcher wouldn't. They just want to see touchdown, interception, and all those. But me, I try not to watch it because I overanalyze it too much.
That's good though, man. Like you're gonna like that's like almost. I feel like most people would have to be the other way. Like if that makes sense. Like it'd be
Yeah, so
in a film
it's
room.
hard. It's hard when you go to whether it's a college game or football game or professional or anything, and you're watching it with normal fans, and they yell at the corner for giving up a touchdown, but it's the safety's fault, or they're yelling at the receiver for running the wrong route, but the quarterback gave the wrong signal. And as a player, you can pick those things up that the normal football watcher can't.
yeah, what? Well, since you were with the Steelers, and there's the Steelers, I guess, have been in the headlines today. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I'm sure you have, but apparently a big signing's going on with the Patriots. James Harrison, maybe he visited there. Yeah, that's any thoughts on that? Because that's kind of breaking. I mean, we might get your first thoughts on that if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's a business. I mean, that's kind of the only way to put it.
Did you ever get a chance to talk to James?
Yeah. As a rookie, you kind of just keep your head down and go to work. And if a vet talks to you, he talks to you. And if not, you kind of just keep going to work. But, I mean, at the end of the day, as a player, you always got to do what's best for you. And I guess that was best for him. So, it is what it is.
Man, that's a guy like James Harrison. I couldn't even imagine him coming up to me and talking. I mean, a living legend almost. Probably first ballot Hall of Famer, I'd say, all day long. So
definitely a Hall of Famer. He's had a hell of a career.
Defensive Player of the Year in 08. Like, he's been
that pick in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Larry Fitzgerald ran him down. Yeah, but he couldn't get him though. James Harrison outran him, and he's a receiver.
So
that's crazy. But well, man, we really appreciate you talking with us today, and we want to wish you the best of luck on your podcast if you get it started, and best of luck. Sounds like you got a lot of things going on, so we want to wish you as much luck as we could possibly wish you.
Yeah, we definitely would want you back on if you'd be willing to do it, though. This has been
definitely. I don't know you guys personally, but you guys seem like two cool, down-to-earth guys, so I would definitely be willing to talk again. I like to talk. It's kind of my major. So, yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for reaching out, and hopefully we can do this again.
All right, man. Thank you. We'll see you later.
All right, buddy.
All right, and that's our talk with Malik Golden.
That's it. We were really trying to get another guy on. We were so glad when he messaged us back on Twitter. And, I don't know if we can keep this pace up having all these people, but we're going to get as many as we can get.
Yeah, we got, be sure to stay tuned. Like, I know we say it at the end of every podcast, but, we do kind of keep delivering them. We got a couple more lined up. We're working on dates and times with a couple guys. That's the only, around the holidays and the new year, it's kind of hard to get some of this stuff straightened out. One of them's a college coach, and he's got bowl games going on, so we're getting a couple things straightened out, and we're gonna get these guys on. We're gonna definitely get them on. We got, I think, 3 or 4 that have said they do it, so hopefully we'll get them on, and be sure to stay in tune.
And if, by the way, I've been meaning to. I told one of our friends this, but if you have some questions like you think you would like us to add to our regular, like go-to questions or whatever, or certain guests, if you find out we're gonna do it, we don't like to announce our guests like before, just in case like something falls through or whatever, because it's kind of sometimes hard to coordinate these. But if there's just a general question you'd like us to ask, like, hey, ask them, what it was like when this happened or whatever, just let us know.
Yeah, if there's any, I guess you could say any generic questions that would go along with the podcast.
Yeah.
We have NFL, college athletes, football, mostly football, I'd say. We can say we might have a guy lined up who's an MMA fighter, so if anything, could think of in the MMA world you'd like to hear, just tweet them to us or, message us to them. We'll take them any way.
We're very active on our Twitter. That's the best way to get a hold of us.
We love interaction on Twitter. That's probably our favorite thing. So any questions or anything, send them there. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. All you got to do is go to iTunes or podbean.com. Make yourself a free account on Podbean. It's free, quick, simple. Make it, subscribe. You can follow us on there. Follow us on iTunes and Facebook, Twitter, and everything. Definitely YouTube. YouTube's awesome.
And this, you might be listening to this on YouTube. We have that.
Yeah, if you're doing this on YouTube.
Sets us up on that one.
Yeah, if you listen to this on YouTube, do all the opposite things. So, check it all out. And thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you next time.